Hey y'all, I'm back with another update on my bioidentical hormone replacement therapy. Blah, 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 that's hard to say. I'm actually about to go in for a follow-up doctor's appointment. So it has been 10 weeks since I got my testosterone pellet inserted and started doing the other supplements and all the things that I've been doing. And he likes to check in kind of like in between. So the pellets are supposed to last for 3 to 4 months, I believe. So it's been almost 3 months, and I did a urine sample about a month ago now. So he has the information from that. So I'm interested to see what came back. So he'll be able to look at my levels. I've been taking a bunch of extra vitamins, vitamin D, vitamin B I was low in. I talked about this previously, but the testosterone the progesterone I have not been taking because it just like, oh my goodness. Aside from being sleepy, extra sleepy, and like not being able to stay awake, I did take it right before I went to bed, but it was still like the next day. It was really rough. But I also was like depressed after the first 24 hours of taking it. I only took it 2 days. I will say that at the time I was still like working on just kind of overcoming some of my emotional stuff that's related to the hormones and related to everything else. But it was like, I could tell a difference from when I took it and the day before. So it was like it intensified everything even more. I was like wanting to cry over everything all day. I was depressed. I seriously had some, I hate to even say this because it's just so not me, but I actually had like some thoughts of how I would be better off not on this earth. And that's just not me at all. So that was really scary to me, and I was like, okay, I'm not taking this again. So I'm gonna talk to him about that today. I also did stop taking my birth control after about a month into this process because it had been bothering me all along. I felt like it was really impacting my mood, but after starting the other therapy and the other treatments, it was like even worse. Like I was like, I feel like I am losing my mind, and I'm up and down emotionally, and my cycles were not regular anymore. And I was like, I'm just gonna have to stop. Like, we were waiting on Cullen to get his little snip done, but we just decided we would use alternate methods of protection in the meantime because I just couldn't take it anymore. And I have felt so much better since being off of that. Obviously the hormone stuff has helped as well, but it was like seeing the light of how I could feel better with the hormone replacement therapy. I was like, okay, I've got to get off this birth control that's making me crazy. I 100% know that birth control is not the cause of all of this stuff that I've been going through, because I didn't start taking birth control until January of this year, 2019. It's currently August, and I stopped taking it in July. But I called and made my bioidentical hormone appointment in February and had been having these symptoms for like a year or two. I got on birth control to try to help with some of the symptoms that I was having, and obviously it didn't help. It made things worse. So I know for some people it is helpful. For me it wasn't. Prior to that, I had not been on birth control since before Gaines was born, and she is about to turn 5. So it had been years. So it definitely wasn't like that caused all of this together. So anyways, being off the birth control has helped for sure. The testosterone has helped a bunch. I will tell you guys about some of the ways it's helped and all that after I get my results from him and kind of just see where things stand. I'm hoping all my levels are good, and we'll be able to get some insight on the progesterone issue. Whoop, okay, I'm out now. And gonna give you guys a little update. So last time I was in here, I wish I had my old results, but my estrogen was really elevated, which we kind of had attributed partially to the birth control. However, I had been off of my birth control for about maybe 3 weeks when I did this urine sample, and my estrogen is still really elevated. The range is 40 to 140, like the target range, and mine is 258. So yeah, that is high, which he said is what will contribute to causing the kind of like irritability, anger, like those kind of feelings, especially when it is not balanced with the progesterone. And the progesterone, I talked to him about that, and he said he thinks what happened with the progesterone was I was taking it while I was taking birth control, which he knew that at the time, but it was hard for either of us to kind of determine exactly when in my cycle was a cycle, like what was up and down and when it needed to happen. Now that I'm off of the birth control, so I'm not getting any like synthetic progesterone, then this should work better. It should actually be helpful now. He said to try it. I'm actually at the point in my cycle now where I would be taking it. So he said to try it tonight and see how it goes, and then to let him know, email him and let him know whether it goes okay, or he said we might need to consider lowering the dose or consider doing like a cream instead of the oral progesterone. So I'm gonna kind of consider all of that, and I am gonna try it again tonight. I do feel a little less scared about it, knowing that the birth control probably had an impact on it too, and I'm not taking that anymore. So that should probably, hopefully, go better. I think I still have been experiencing some of the like PMDD stuff right before my period, and the progesterone should help with that. I will say that, I guess, I don't know, there's a lot of different factors involved here in life, but it did seem shorter this time than previously. Like prior to all this, it would be like 7 to 10 days. And I would say this time it was more like 3 to 5 days. So not as bad, but still, if we can kind of avoid that time period, then it will be great, because although that doesn't seem like a big deal, when those 3 to 5 days fall on like some kind of significant day, like your kid's birthday or something else, then it's just not fun. You don't want to feel like you hate the world and everything's terrible. You're just like mentally drained, exhausted when you shouldn't be exhausted, all that stuff. That's just not fun. So that's that. My estrogen is still really high. My progesterone, I guess on its own, if I'm understanding right, I could be understanding wrong, but I think on its own, it's like not terrible, but considering the balance with the estrogen, it is imbalanced because it's low. So that's why I'm still going to need to take the progesterone, because my estrogen is so high. So my testosterone, after having the pellet in for, at this point I'd had it in for like 6 weeks, I think, it was 1.6, which prior to getting the pellet, it was less than 0.02. So basically 0. The target range is 2 to 6. And like I said, mine this time was 1.6. So it was closer to what it should be. It's still a little bit low, so he said next time he'll probably give me a little bit higher of a dosage. It's not like it's so low still that he would want to go ahead and do another pellet right now. I'm gonna do another one in about 4 weeks from now, because that will be around 3 months. As far as my cortisol, if you remember from my last video, it was super elevated, which is like the stress hormone, and contributes to a lot of the irritability, stress. It can affect all kinds of things in your body. I'm not the doctor, so I'm not gonna explain all of that, but if you look at, let's see, I can kind of show you this chart. So if you look at this, it is more like in the normal curve. Previously, I'd done urine samples at each of these time points, and this time they just had me do a waking one, and that is really interesting because mornings, like all this morning stuff, used to be my most stressful time, and when I would feel like super agitated and irritated, I shouldn't even say most stressful because it's all stressful, but mornings, or like if somebody woke me up too soon, or heaven forbid the kids woke up in the middle of the night. I mean, I've always said, I'm like, I am not nice if you wake me up in the middle of the night. Like, it obviously happens, and I try my best, but sometimes I'm just like, can't even handle the like anger in the middle of the night type thing. And that was one of the first things I noticed. I think it was a couple days, maybe few days after I'd started taking the Pure Calm supplement, that Gaines woke up in the middle of the night and needed something, and I came back down and I was like, Colin, I didn't get mad. I'm not mad. It's good. It's fine. I understand. So anyway, that's helpful. As far as side effects that I have experienced, I was going to talk a little bit about, and I mentioned this beforehand, one of the things that he is going to give me something to help with that can be caused from the testosterone is I feel like I am losing hair, which my hair is already thin, so I don't need to lose any more hair. But like, if you've had children, you know that maybe 5 months after you've had your kids, you kind of start losing hair. Like, it just happens. It's just a hormonal thing. That can happen from the testosterone because it is related to, DHT-M FMV. I don't really know what all that means, but it's something that is elevated due to the testosterone. And he gave me like some topical spray that I can spray, and it will help to block that and help the hair to regrow. So I don't think, for me personally, it's not worth not doing the testosterone for that if the spray will help prevent that, because whatever it is that's elevated, this blocks that. Okay, so the other thing that I was kind of concerned about that I mentioned to him, I guess not concerned about as much as just annoyed by, is some like water retention, swelling in my hands, feet, like body. I feel just like I can tell in my, even like my face and my, just all over, bloating in my stomach and all that. So he said that that would be due to the elevated estrogen and the imbalance with progesterone. So the progesterone, he said, should help with that. Other than that though, as far as the positives from the testosterone pellet insertion and the other supplements I've been taking, I primarily attribute this to the testosterone, is I've definitely noticed an increase in motivation, a decrease in anxiety, like the jittery, oh my gosh, just feeling on edge, like that kind of anxiety, the like jumpiness and irritability and all of that. I have definitely noticed a decrease in that. That was within just a few days, really, maybe definitely a week, of getting the pellet inserted. Even like being able to talk to people or being able to be sociable, like social anxiety, all of that kind of stuff. I feel like it significantly helped with all of that. I will say that I noticed we have a steep driveway and we have to take the trash can up and down, and Cullen's usually the one to do it, but sometimes I do it. And I noticed after I brought it up, I was like, I'm not out of breath at all. Like I have been eating better and exercising and whatever, but I'd been doing that previously too, but still felt like I just wasn't, like, I guess endurance or whatever would be the word for the deal with that. I definitely feel like there's a difference there. I started last week walking again, which I have not exercised since I started taking birth control, actually. It was actually like a couple weeks after I started taking birth control that I got the flu, the kids got sick, all this stuff just kind of threw me off track, and I never bounced back. And I feel like that people have said that's happened to them from birth control. I don't know if that's what it was. I don't know what the deal was, but regardless, I started back this week and I actually was able to run. And I don't usually run. I usually just walk. Sometimes I'll jog a little bit, but on my little Run Keeper app, yesterday I actually ran, and I have tracked 101 activities on there, including like pre-kids, whatever, that shows you how not often I work out because I just don't ever have the motivation and the drive to do it. And it was my second fastest time in the past like 3 years. So if that tells you anything, I feel like it's a little bit just more like stamina, more, I wish I knew the right word. I don't know what the word is, but anyways, I'm definitely thankful for that, so that I feel like I can exercise. I can like be up and around and doing what I need to do for my kids. I don't feel just like drained all the time. So I feel like that's been a huge benefit of the testosterone. I will say that when I first started all this, the testosterone and the other supplements and stuff, I was still on the birth control and I was still losing weight. Since I stopped the birth control, I feel like I have not gained weight. I mean, I've gained like a pound or two here and there, but it's very fluctuating. And when I was on the birth control and had started the supplements and the pellets, my weight was very stable. And if I even tried a little bit to eat healthier, I was still losing weight. Now I feel like I'm back at a point that I've been at before in my life where it's like if I look at a donut the wrong way, I'm gonna gain weight or not lose weight, even if I'm otherwise eating healthy and exercising. So I don't know if that's what's going on now, but I'm having a harder time in the past month losing weight. I'm also not eating super great because it's been summer and I've been kind of lax. So I'm gonna wait until I'm actually really back on track health-wise. I've definitely been way back on track this week, and usually once I really get back into a healthy, by the book, breakfast and lunch and mostly dinner, I will lose weight pretty quickly if I'm sticking to it. And that hasn't happened this week like it usually does. I don't know if it's because I've been exercising and the old excuse of like muscle weighs more than fat. I know it's dumb and I didn't like build a bunch of muscle, but water retention, who knows? Anyways, okay, I'm talking too much. I'm gonna go. Thank you guys so much for watching this. If you have had experience with this before, please leave a comment below and let me know. I've gotten tons of comments about like what kind of doctor does this. I talked to my doctor about it and they don't do that kind of hormone testing. So I specifically searched for a doctor that specializes in bioidentical hormone replacement therapy. So search for somebody in your area that specializes in that. Your regular gynecologist is not gonna do this type of testing, most likely. My doctor is with Body Logic, and I know they have different locations all over the country, and it's been super helpful for me so far. I'm super thankful for this. I would not have known about this if it weren't for Ellie talking about her bioidentical hormone replacement therapy and how incredibly helpful it was. It's just incredibly eye-opening, and I just like wish I had looked into all this sooner. But leave me any questions. I'll try to respond to questions or comments or whatever below. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.